Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Living Life with Breast Cancer. First, let's address one thing. Last time I did a video was back in October, and I sincerely apologize that it's been a little bit of time since I did a video. It's just been kind of crazy and I don't have any excuses, so I apologize. So this video is going to be all about catching you guys up from where I left you off in October to what's been happening and to what's next in my journey with breast cancer. So in my last video, I left you guys off. I just finished round 9 of Taxol. So I did 12 rounds of Taxol and then I did 4 rounds of the Red Devil. So I want to talk to you guys about the difference between Taxol and the Red Devil. I'll have Brian put the actual names of the Red Devil. There's 2 different drugs I got with that. I just put it as the Red Devil, so I'm not sure exactly like what the specific names of them are. So Taxol, I did the 12 rounds of that, and honestly, first of all, before I start, let me just say again, everybody's journey with cancer, chemo, radiation, everybody's journey is different. So just because I had side effects or didn't have side effects doesn't mean that you do or everybody else will. So just as a reminder for that. So Taxol honestly was not that bad for me. Sorry, I have all my notes on my phone. So Taxol wasn't honestly that bad for me. I had a few side effects such as like my eye twitching. I had like a runny nose. I was constantly feeling like I had a sinus infection, but I didn't. It was just a side effect of the drug. But once I stopped Taxol, that actually kind of all went away, except my eye twitch is back again, which is kind of annoying in a sense. But anyways, so I did the 12 rounds of Taxol, and then I went to
the Red Devil.
So let me talk to you guys about a couple mistakes I made with the Red Devil. So if you're about to go through the Red Devil or you know somebody about to go through the Red Devil, take my advice and do not do these mistakes at all. So with Taxol, I pretty much ate what I wanted to. So after chemo, we would stop. I would get Chick-fil-A, Five Guys. I kind of get whatever I wanted to eat. And so the day of Red Devil, I made that mistake. So mistake number 1, don't think that your side effects with Taxol and Red Devil are gonna be the same at all, because they might not be. So with the Red Devil, my pre-meds were changed up. So they dropped the beloved Benadryl of mine. I love Benadryl, it was amazing. I'm not a druggie, I promise, I just love Benadryl. And they added back the steroid drug. And then also got a 30-minute nausea drip to help with nausea. So I thought because I got all that I was gonna be good to go. So I went home and I ate Five Guys. So I ate a burger and I ate fries. And that night I went home and I ate, and then I changed my clothes, got my pajamas, and I went and laid down in bed. And I specifically remember it was 8 o'clock and I was standing in the kitchen with my neighbors. And we were talking because we were about to watch their dog for a few days. And all of a sudden, it felt like I was hit with a Mack truck. Like this wave of just nausea and feeling awful, like literally my whole body started hurting. And it was absolutely awful. I don't know how else to describe it except for it was awful. And it lasted like that for a few days. So Thursday night, I didn't sleep well at all because steroids keep you up at night. Plus I wasn't feeling very well. So Thursday night was a little rough. I can't say it was great, it was rough. So early Friday morning I got up, I was on the couch, I went to bed and I laid there and I slept all day. Finally about 12 o'clock, my stomach, you can imagine what happened. It was awful, and I called the doctor. I'm like, listen, I am super sick. Can I take my nausea medicine? They said absolutely. So mistake number 1 was eating too much heavy food. Mistake number 2 was not taking my nausea medicine when I should have. So those are 2 mistakes. Don't be like me. Don't make those mistakes whatsoever. So finally when I started my nausea medicine, that's when I started feeling a little bit better. I was no longer nauseous. However, I was extremely tired because the nausea medicine makes you exhausted. So Friday, my dog, he just jumped down here. Everybody say hi to Toby. Toby, you want to say hi? Your haircut. Okay, anyways. So Friday, I slept all day, but with the red devil, because that really depletes your white blood cells, you actually have to go back to the hospital. My hospital, I had to go back and get what's called a Neulasta shot. So the Neulasta shot, what that does is it helps boost your white blood cells and replenish what was depleted. So you have to go back the next day after. Some Neulasta shots you can get like this thing that goes on your arm and it releases the Neulasta over a course of time. However, my hospital didn't recommend that, so I had to go back every week and get a shot. So let me go ahead and give you guys a one pointer. If you are going to be getting the Neulasta shot and your hospital does not say anything, start taking Claritin with the Neulasta shot. The Neulasta shot causes bone pain. So like for me, I would hurt kind of like all in this area. Like it was just super sore and sometimes into my chest. But what the Claritin does is for some reason, it helps with bone pain. So if you're getting the Neulasta shot, take Claritin a couple days before to a couple days after, and that will definitely help with that. So that Friday, I went and got my Neulasta shot. It does hurt, doesn't feel very well, but the stinging goes down a couple minutes after you're done. Got the Neulasta shot, I went home and I went back to sleep that night. I slept all night Friday, I slept all day Saturday. I only woke up to take my nausea medicine every 4 hours. I was literally taking nausea medicine every 4 hours. Brian would come in, wake me up, take my nausea medicine, then I was back to sleep again. So all day Friday, all day Saturday. Finally, I woke up Sunday morning and I felt about 80% human again. I got up, finally got out of bed and moved to the couch, which was a big thing. And then I just slowly started eating again. I didn't eat anything Friday or Saturday, so I was super dehydrated on Sunday, so I started drinking some water. I loved grapes. Grapes were delicious, so I ate tons of grapes. I drank tons of water. I did start having heart palpitations a little bit because I was so dehydrated, but the next day those started getting better once I was hydrated again. So definitely don't make those same mistakes of mine. Again, drink plenty of water. Start taking your nausea medicine as much as possible. Drink when you go to do the Red Devil. Make sure the night of you eat very like easy foods on your stomach, soups, breads, very light. Don't eat anything greasy, heavy. When you get done with the Red Devil, definitely go straight to bed. Take a shower, go straight to bed, lay in bed. I would lay in bed Thursday and Friday, even though I felt good Friday after the first one. I just stayed in bed. So we did make some changes between my first Red Devil and my other 3 after meeting with my doctor and telling her how horrible my experience was. We added Benadryl back into it, and then I just started actually taking nausea medicine as soon as I got home from chemo. So that's another a tip for you, is as soon as you get home from chemo, take a shower, get into bed, start your nausea medicine. I had 2 different nausea medicines. I'll have Brian maybe list what the 2 I had because I don't remember the name of them. And then just start taking those every 4 hours. You might sleep a lot, but I'd rather sleep a lot than feel nauseous and sick. So really my last 3 treatments after the first one went very, very well. Again, I didn't have any nausea. I was a little bit more tired than normal, but I really stayed home that whole weekend. I didn't really go anywhere Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, except for to go get my Neulasta shot. So that really helped a lot. Also, the weekend I was super sick, hot showers felt really good to me. That was the only place I actually felt pretty decent. When I did sleep most of the day, but I did wake up sometimes and take showers. That really helped me kind of feel a little bit better. So the Red Devil, my side effects with the Red Devil were definitely different than the Taxol. I don't feel like I had as much side effects with the Red Devil, except for my stomach. I don't know how to say this. My stomach just kind of stopped doing things. So that was a little bit of a struggle in trying to keep that process going. Again, Taxol, I could eat whatever I want. The Red Devil during those weekends, like even though I felt great, I still really was easy on my stomach. However, that was one of my main side effects was I had stomach issues. Going into the Red Devil, I had actually all my hair. I had my hair, had my brows. I had some hair and I had my brows and my eyelashes, but starting the second week of Red Devil, 3rd week, I started losing everything, and it was after all my 16 treatments is when everything fell out. So like I finished treatment on November the 18th. So I finished treatment on November the 18th, which we have a video of me ringing the bell that we will play. And it was an amazing experience. I loved it. It was just this feeling of accomplishment. I was able to have my friends and family there with me to to see me ring the bell. I had the nurses, I had my doctor there. So it was just really time of celebration. But after that, it was when I lost all my hair and brows and lashes. And I will say, I don't know why, but losing my brows was probably one of the hardest parts of chemo for me, or part of the journey for me. I struggled with my brows. I tried to do my brows. I got like those little stamp sets and I tried to do them and they just looked pitiful. It was awful. I mean, I went out with them. Finally, I ended up not caring what they looked like, but I was like, not having brows and lashes definitely was a shock for me, not seeing myself with that. So I would suggest, before, if you know you're going to go to the chemo and you're going to lose your brows, I wish I would have like microbladed them, had them done, and that really would have helped maybe with how I felt. So, but let me go back and talk about ringing the bell. It really was such a special moment to finally finish 16 rounds of what I went through, and just really being able to have family and friends there to do that. So it was just a special time. I think I just bawled like for the longest time. I just kept crying and crying and crying. And my nurses were crying. My doctor was crying. I think everybody was crying. So it was a truly amazing experience. And I loved it. They gave my hospital gave me a certificate, and I had this little bitty bell. I got to go outside because of COVID. People couldn't come inside, but I was able to go outside and ring the bell. So after chemo, it was time to talk about radiation, so I met with my radiation doctor. And so my cancer had, according to my radiation doctor, had good and bad about it. So there were good things about it and bad things about it. Good things about it was my cancer was small. It hadn't spread. And the other good part is I'm younger, so I'm 42. And my cancer was only 2 centimeters, 2.1, I should be specific. The bad things about it was a feature that my cancer had, could have been bad if it turned into it. Also was on the inside of my chest, or on my breast instead of the outside. So there was a couple bad factors that went to it. So I really fell in this middle part of, do I really need radiation? And one thing I really loved about my doctor was he really went into, like, really gave me some specifics on, he didn't push me one way or the other. It was actually my choice. He said that most women who fell in this good and bad, there was just no scientific data that it helped with reoccurrence. There's no studies out there. There's just nothing that said, yes, me doing it helped really with reoccurrence or it didn't. He said most women who did it was more for peace of mind, and that's the reason why I did it. For me, it was I wanted to be happy with how I ended my treatments, and that I did everything I possibly could for myself to help with not having a reoccurrence of cancer. Having the radiation and the mastectomy and chemo actually dropped my percentage from 60% to 10%. So there's a 10% chance I could still get cancer again for reoccurrence, but to me, I would take those odds over it being higher. So I chose to do radiation. So let's talk about radiation. I honestly didn't know what radiation really was until I went into it. I knew I'd laid there and I thought there was some kind of laser beam that to my chest, but it's actually not to it. There's so much that goes into it. I met with my doctor beforehand and we talked about it, and then I went to a CT. Like I went in my radiation, they had 2 radiation machines and they had a CT machine. So basically the week before I went in and they did what was called mark the path, and basically they put me in the CT machine and they would take x-rays and a CT scan of the area, and they like draw me, like kind of dotted me up, and they put things all over me, and then the doctor approved where I would get the radiation at. I actually had these little stickers all over my body, so I had one here, like down here, and then had 2 on my sides, and that helped line me up each week. So we did a trial run on the Friday before, and basically I just went in the machine and I did breathing. So breathing was huge when it came to my type of radiation. So the cool thing about my type of radiation was it was very specific and very designed for it. So when I would get in the machine, I actually have a video I'll show you. Maybe we can play this over. Lay down the machine, and every time I lay with my right arm up, and then lay with my thumb in my waistband of my pants, whatever I was wearing, and then I would lay there as kind of dead weight, and the nurses, the technicians would come and they would adjust my body by a blanket underneath me, and that would line me up to specific measurements each and every time. So once we laid down, there was no moving whatsoever. If I coughed, that could adjust my measurements off by just a little bit. So you had to lay very still. Once I was all lined up, then my machine rotated 3 times. So my machine would rotate all the way to this side, and then it would rotate all the way behind me, and then it would rotate again to about like right here. So basically what I would do is when the machine started, I would lay there and then they would tell me to hold my breath and I'd breathe in deep. And I had like a little machine that was aligned, so I knew when I was breathing correctly. And then as soon as I breathed in, then the radiation would happen for about 10 seconds. I would exhale, then I would hold my breath again, and they would do it again. So I did that twice on each section. So about total, I was totally in the machine maybe 4 minutes at the most. Super easy, quick. There were times I walked in, they called my name, I was back. I was in and out in like 15 minutes at the most. Radiation was 25 rounds for me. So I was going Monday through Friday for basically almost 5 weeks. I did get Christmas Eve off and New Year's Eve off. But other than that, I was there every day. 8:50 was my time. I had the best therapist. They were so nice. Like they made me feel so comfortable. I was super scared my first day. I don't know why. I was like more scared for radiation than chemo. I think because I didn't know what to expect. I was terrified. So I'm crying on the machine, and you know, they were very like, the level of care they gave was amazing. Like they was just, I got to know them, and so I'm super thankful for them. So I did about 24 rounds. The radiation side effects was exhaustion and skin irritation. So I did pretty well. I was exhausted like 2 days of the whole 5 weeks. Those are the only 2 days I called in sick. I was just exhausted. Like I couldn't work. So I was super tired. And my skin is, as you can kind of see, I'm not gonna pull it all the way down, but you can see the darkness. So with radiation, one thing I learned is when radiation goes in, it has to exit somewhere. So the one beam would come in this side because this is where my cancer was, and exit out this side. So I'll have this dark patch, looks like a bad tan over here. And then when I rotate it around to the back, it would go in my back. So I have a tan spot and it would exit right here, as you can see. And then I had another beam, the same thing, it would come in and then exit out my back as well. So I have these random dark spots. My skin hasn't, it's just, I had some really bad itching, but I have been moisturizing like crazy. So if you're going to go through radiation, highly suggest find some really good moisturizer and moisturize 2 or 3 times a day. I fail a little bit sometimes on my moisturizer, but I just moisturize before I go to bed, after shower in the morning, or after I come back from radiation, because you can't moisturize before radiation for me. And so it was just a lot of just moisturizing. I couldn't reach my back, so my husband or my kids would have to go in and like moisturize my back for me. So some itching, of course, just like with the tan, like I itch through here and on the back some, but that's just part of it. So I actually finished radiation, and I finished radiation yesterday. Today's January 19th. I finished yesterday in my brain. I finished yesterday, Tuesday the 18th, and I finished on my 1-year cancer anniversary. So I'm super excited. I got to celebrate 2 things yesterday. My 1 year of, it was actually my 1-year diagnosis, and you're probably thinking, Mary, why are you celebrating you being diagnosed? Well, for me, it's been a journey I never wanted to go on, but it was a journey I'm thankful for. So many lessons learned through the battles and challenges that I had this year, I will never take for granted, and just things to learn. Okay, I'm not gonna cry, promise. Ah. But yeah, so it was my 1-year anniversary. Super excited. Celebrated last night with some friends over. Had some cake, some ice cream. Any reason for me to have cake? I love cake, by the way. So we had cake and ice cream. So it was an amazing time. So let's talk about what is next. What is next for me? So I'm done with all my treatments. So I'm super excited. I meet with my oncologist next week to talk about what's next. So for me, because I have the BRCA gene, BRCA gene causes the breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So for me, the next big thing is my hysterectomy. So my hysterectomy is scheduled for February 16th. We could have done it at the same time as my reconstruction. However, because there's a 60% chance of me getting ovarian cancer, I wasn't ready to finish taking that risk of waiting longer for it. So I just went ahead and made the decision to go ahead and have a hysterectomy. I am super nervous about going into menopause, so if you have been into menopause and you have any helpful tips and tricks, please send them my way. I'm a little nervous. I do have a little bit of menopause feelings now because honestly, let's be honest, I haven't had a period since like August, so I've had a little bit of the hot flashes and mood swings. Sorry to my family and friends. So I've had a little bit of that, but I'm a little nervous of going into surgical menopause, so I'm a little scared about that, but we'll get through it. So big wise, that's what's next for me is my surgery. I have an appointment in March to meet with my plastic surgeon, talk about reconstruction. Because of radiation, I have to wait 6 months. So looks like July, August is probably when I'll shoot for my reconstruction. We have dance, my daughter's in dance, and we have competitive dance season coming up. So I'm trying to maneuver that around dance season. Also coming up is because of the BRCA gene I have, my doctor is going to start me on a pill, and it's a pill specifically designed for BRCA patients like myself. And what the pill does is it will inhibit the BRCA cells from dividing and getting bigger and causing issues again. Just because I had the double mastectomy doesn't mean that I'll never get breast cancer again. Again, that's a 10% chance that I can get breast cancer again, but this will also help just minimize the BRCA gene from dividing and helping that. So I'll be on that for at least 1 year. There are side effects to go with that. She said, again, it's exhaustion and nausea. Definitely, I'll still get my hair, I'll grow all that back. It won't affect that, but there could be side effects with it. I'm excited to try it and get on that just so I know a little bit more peace of mind of not having cancer come back. So that's what's kind of caught you guys up of where I have been and what's been going on. We had a great Christmas and we had good New Year's. It was just, so I'm super excited for the next step. But one thing I did what I really want to talk about, and I think it's one thing that I wasn't prepared for. I think of when you think of somebody with cancer, getting cancer, you don't think of what it does to you mentally. I will say in this journey that I will say probably mentally, my mental health has probably been a lot harder to deal with than the physical side of things. Nobody prepares you for what that does to you. I remember yesterday I was kind of going back and thinking about my past year, and really the first thing I thought about last year when I was diagnosed was, am I gonna die in a year? So that was another reason I was celebrating yesterday. But the cancer community, and I don't mean to be this in a bad way, because being diagnosed with cancer, we know what the outcome could be, right? We know the outcome could be not a good one, and that's something that you're faced with. You always think about that. I think without this time being diagnosed, it's really truly in your face, like I could die. And so I understand that a lot of people's outcome is different than maybe my outcome or whatever it is, but the cancer community as a whole that I've noticed is very sad and depressing atmosphere. I was part of a cancer page on Instagram, and I really had to bring myself out of that page, because I realized following and watching a lot of these things and what people were saying was really bringing me down and having an effect on me mentally. A lot of people think positivity is toxic. A lot of women hate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Anything positive people are really against, and there's a lot of people who struggle with PTSD and depression and anxiety. Scanxiety is a real thing for people with cancer patients. Basically, scanxiety is having to go for scans and just anxiety over what those outcomes are going to be. So I definitely understand that. I get the same thing when I am going even for a test of some sort. I do get nervous with that. It is a very sad place. So I just encourage anybody, if you are about to go through this journey or going through this journey, make sure you talk to somebody. Make sure you find a therapist, somebody that you can get those feelings out toward. I actually finally made an appointment with the therapist to talk about everything I've been through. I was fortunate enough to have women who have been through the same journey, who I was able to reach out to, like, listen, I'm struggling with this, and they were able to help me. So find somebody who can help you positively with your journey and what you're going through, just because it can be a very dark place. I realized, so just some things that helped me, honestly, is, like I said, talking to somebody, whether it was on days that I was struggling because of my brows. When I had no brows and I was throwing something because I couldn't draw them all right, and, you know, my husband was there to remind me that they'll grow back, right? Or my eyelashes, or just whatever, or sometimes seeing myself, whatever the problem was, the issue, I was able to, you know, talk to him or talk to people. Another thing that really helped me is when I started feeling sad, or I just started feeling like getting in this dark space. For me, as you know, faith is a big part of my life, and it grew even more this past year, was worship music. I was able to put on a few of my favorite songs and just help me bring me out of that sad place. I would honestly pray, like, God, take this from me. Like, like, I don't want to feel like this. I think I cried a lot in the shower most times because that was a place where it was quiet. And so I cried a lot. So just because you cry or you're upset, again, it doesn't show a sign of weakness or anything like that. I would definitely highly encourage you, talk to somebody, find somebody that you can speak with. Worship music, again, is an amazing place. Going to God, opening your Bible. A lot of times I would put on YouTube and put on a message. Like a few of my favorite pastors I've listened to, I would find messages and kind of put those on. So there's definitely lots of places. If that's not for you, self-help books, something along that lines. Again, highly suggest talking to somebody about what you're going through, for sure. And because I don't want to be stuck. Like for me, the night of December 31st of New Year's, I had stayed up and I was watching our praise party, the Elevation, and I was wanting to think of the new year and I wanted to think of resolutions, but I was scared to think of a resolution just because of the last 2 years. And I was like, I'm not making any resolutions. I'm just going to go into 2022 very quietly. I'm going to sit in the back and like let nobody, like people will not know I'm here, right? And I was thinking, it's like, that's not what I want to be. That's not what I want to do. Whatever comes our way in 2022, we're going to go through with, but there was this shift for me from literally from one day to the next. Thankful and I'm grateful, and those are kind of like, I feel like my words for the year is thankful and grateful. I just literally had this sense of peace that have come over me in the last 2 weeks. I had peace last year. I knew everything was gonna be okay, but there was just kind of this sense of I could breathe the last 2 weeks, and I just really wanted that for 2020. I just pray to God, give me the peace, give me that sense of calmness in my life. And there's been a couple songs that have really helped me. The last couple weeks I've actually played over and over again is I Thank God by Maverick City and A Reason to Praise by Bethel Music. It's kind of been two of my favorite songs recently that if I do start feeling, I just put those on and I will jam out. To be honest, I think God's very upbeat. So I will sing and dance in my car or in my office. I'm sitting in my chair and I'm like dancing. So yeah, so definitely if you get anything out of this video and you're watching it and you're going through this, definitely please take care of your mental health. I don't feel like it's talked about enough in the community before you're diagnosed. Even my doctor mentioned that when we were talking about it. She says there's not enough put on that because everybody's thinking of the physical part of it. But again, mental health goes with it. So yeah, that is where we're at. That's where we're caught up. So you might be thinking, Mary, what's next with your channel? So I am going to bring you guys along. Again, my hysterectomy is in a month. So I'm going to bring you along that journey, and we just have a lot going on. So I promise it will not be 3 months before my next video. We'll do it. We'll take you along my hysterectomy and how that goes and getting ready for that because I have no idea what I'm about to go through. So also pray for my hysterectomy. Because I had surgery like 20 years ago, I have a long scar on my stomach. My doctor said she's going to do it orthoscopically. However, if I have a lot of scar tissue in there, she'll have to do it old style and cut me open and take my lady parts. So let's pray that's not the case because I don't want to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I'm good with 2 to 3 weeks, but 4 to 6 is pushing it. Let's pray for that. If you guys have any comments, questions, tips, tricks, anything you'd like to see from me, I would love to share anything with you guys about that. So just comment below. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you get notified. If you have comments, questions, concerns, anything, please send them my way. And thank you guys so much for your support this past year and your love. I definitely could not have, first of all, made it without God. He's the main reason I'm here, right? But just knowing that there are people out there who love not only me, but my family and been supporting us this whole year, I should say 2 years. We really appreciate it. And we just thank you guys so much for everything. And we love you, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.